Hello, everybody. Back here again for another recumbent biking day trip. And this is part two to day 7 on the bike. And it's not, I guess, day 7, it's trip 7. I obviously didn't ride the bike every day. This right here was a beautiful spring day. I was actually able to be out here riding without a jacket. Uh, took the jacket with me, took it off on the way back. The wind was to my back on the way home. My plan was to go out west and then head over south, then come back east on a separate old highway, kind of get a different little view in that. Wasn't able to do that. I ended up giving up on the trip. I cut it a little bit short, just mostly because the wind on the way out was just kicking my butt. I mean, it was absolutely just miserable. We're talking, it was 20 plus mile an hour gusts, 15 on average. It was ridiculous. And I was just absolutely exhausted. I was trying to do my longest trip I'd ever done on my bike, and it was turned out to be longer than I thought it was going to be with the wind. It was just more than I really felt I wanted to do. So I turned around, headed back here. There was a little, like tiny little church on the side of the road outside my town a little ways where I spent, I don't know, probably 15, 20 minutes just kind of walking around and letting my butt get a little bit of a break from the pedaling. Plus my legs felt better not to be pedaling as well. But it was mostly just kind of get out of the seat a little bit, knowing I wasn't going to stop on the way back home. So I headed back. Ended up being a little over probably a 2 hour plus trip, probably 2 hour 20 minutes, something like that. I think overall, the fact of going back was so much faster. I couldn't believe how much faster it was. I actually, when I got to town, I ride around town a little bit just because of the fact that I had kind of in my head thought I was going to be riding home the same length it took me to get out there. So I went ahead and rode around there, just kind of put a little more miles on the bike, and also to get out of the wind and just kind of ride the slow speed, getting a little break at stopping at stop signs, all that kind of stuff. Right here, the wind at my back, I'm able to kick it up into high gear, which I wasn't able to do at all on the way out. The wind was so bad, I never got out of second gear on my front sprocket and seventh gear on my rear sprocket. So here I was able to get up into, like here I'm in third gear in the front, and I'm way up in eighth gear in the back. I did have to shift down to fourth and fifth a few times, and I actually ended up shifting down to second front sprocket a few times on some of the hills as well. But with the wind at my back, it was really kind of an eerie, calm feeling when the wind was really blowing. Because you figure a 15 mile an hour wind, I'm doing 15 mile an hour on the bike. It's a virtually standstill of wind. It's a kind of a weird, almost like being on an indoor trainer. It kind of messed with my mind a little bit a few spots. Like I kept myself kind of looking around like, is there a big truck blocking the wind or what's happening? So one of the things I also do is I wear my earbuds when I'm riding, listening to a podcast or something like that. And on the way out, the wind was so bad, I hardly couldn't hear it because it was whipping in my ear so much. It was driving me crazy. I was trying to figure out a way of putting like some kind of wind block or something in front of my ear to help keep the wind out so I can hear my headphones a lot better. But I only wear one headphone when I'm on the bike. When I'm running, same thing. I only wear one headphone. That way I can hear what's going on around me, whether it be in the trails or somebody else running up behind me. Like on some of the trails I found there's people riding mountain bikes and that. I don't want to get run over. On the road, I want to hear cars coming, trucks, that kind of stuff. So it's not as bad when you're running on the road because you're running into traffic when you're on foot. But with bikes, they want us to travel with traffic, which in a way is fine. But at the same time, even with my mirrors, I find myself not noticing cars and trucks and semis coming up on me as much as I would like. Then with the wind like it is, you get an extra weird little hard to hear things behind you kind of deal where it'd be almost part of me really wants to ride into traffic also because I can see what's going on, make it a whole lot safer in my mind. But I do what the law states and what they require of me to be safe, and that's what everybody's used to seeing as bikes on the same side of the road with them. And here you notice I kind of drift out in the lane a lot farther. When I see in the mirror, there's nobody behind me. This is super long, virtually flat straight. I catch myself wandering away from the white line a little more often just because I could. But I notice another car's coming. I pull over nicely, get out of everybody's way. A couple times I'll even take the shoulder if it's on a big uphill and the cars can't see what's coming or there's a lot of cars coming at them. I'll go ahead and pull over to kind of get out of the way. Nice thing about this, the weather being a little nicer like it is, I've been seeing a handful of people out on the sidewalk or on the porches and that out here on the highway. And virtually every person I've come across, I've given a wave to, they're waving back. It's kind of a nice, feeling to be in a small area, rural community like this where people are willing to wave at you. Now, if I walked up and said, hey, I really need to use your bathroom, don't know if they're going to let me in their house or not, but it's still a nice feeling to have somebody willing to wave at you. And this right here is one of those crappy hills. You can really see I started struggling because the camera really starts dancing around a lot more is where I'm pedaling like crazy. try and get up the hill. It's definitely not the funnest thing. So head down the hill here. I take a left, go up by our, just kind of running around. We got a little greenhouse here in town, and they're starting to get a few things out there early in the year for them. But I just kind of ride around town a little bit, kind of get a few extra miles on. I stopped here and actually changed some of my stuff. I had my Under Armour ski mask on, trying to keep the wind out of my ears and stuff so much there is what I was after. Took it off, put on a regular hat. Actually, took off one of my other sweatshirts so it wouldn't be quite so hot now that I'm back in town and not going nearly as fast. I was able to average, I think it was like 2.5, 3 mile an hour faster on the way back than I was on the way there. And that includes all this time riding around the square, riding around town and that. So I was hauling butt on the way back compared to on the way out. So anyway, that's what I had for today. Hope you guys enjoy these little weird little clips sped up and that. But if you don't, I guess don't watch them. If you do, thanks for watching and have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Get out there and pedal somewhere.